want to talk about. I want to bring in Cheryl McCollum, an active crime scene investigator in Metro Atlanta, who's worked on high-profile cases from Tupac Shakur to the Zodiac Killer. She's also the author of Swans Don't Swim in a Sewer, great title. John Bueller, retired detective who famously investigated the disappearance of Lacey Peterson. It's great to have you both here. Cheryl, I'll start with you. You know, Brian's source says that this supervisor had no homicide experience, okay? You make the point, as far as I understand, hasn't still been declared a homicide. Totally fair. I would just follow up and say those first 48 hours, you and I both know, are crucial. We're also talking about a kidnapping. We're also talking about an elderly victim. It seems the argument was that this was interpreted wrong. This was interpreted as a wandering off situation initially. It was a bad working theory. Isn't that the problem?
Jesse, you and I have talked, and I have been very clear.
There is a sentence that has been sitting in the middle of this case since 1 minute and 2 seconds, nearly the beginning, not from a tabloid, but from a retired FBI special agent given on the record. 7 words. The plan was not to hurt her. But if the plan wasn't to hurt an 84-year-old woman, why was her blood found on her own front porch? Why did a controlled operation turn into the largest federal manhunt in Arizona's history? The answer isn't in the ransom notes or the Bitcoin trail. It's in a 12-second mistake made in the dark of February 1st. Nancy Guthrie looked into the eyes of her attacker, recognized the physical signature of someone she had known for decades, and she said his name. On that moment was the plan's funeral. I have access to a red folder, a set of forensic photos, and a leaked 911 dispatch log that proves the FBI is looking at a protector, not a stranger. I will reveal the evidence anchor at the end of this video that connects Nancy to a $6 million cover-up. Stay with me, because once you see this, you will never look at the official story the same way again. While the world was looking at Nancy's charity galas and her high-profile family, no one noticed the silent exchange at a Tucson law office 3 weeks prior. This wasn't a kidnapping, it was a planned conspiracy to retrieve a document Nancy wasn't supposed to have. To watch her final local news interview through a liar's lens. Look at the way she glances toward the door every time the interviewer mentions family legacy. Look at the micro expressions of fear. Everyone missed it, but Nancy knew the war had already started. She wasn't an accidental target. She was the keeper of a secret that threatened a billion-dollar empire. The perpetrator didn't want her dead. He wanted her silent. But silence is impossible when the victim knows your face. February 1st, 2 a.m. The air smelled of expensive metallic cologne, a scent that had no business being on a suburban porch. The first breach occurred at 2:12 a.m. when her motion sensors were bypassed by someone who knew exactly where the blind spots were. As the blood hit the porch, the kidnapper didn't flee. He stayed for 41 minutes. But why stay at a crime scene for nearly an hour? Because the kidnapping was the distraction. While the police were looking for a missing woman, a secondary shadow team was purging Nancy's safe deposit box. This was a double-layer breach. They used the violence to mask a heist. They wanted us to look at the blood so we wouldn't look at the files. Right now, the industry is in a digital inferno. Since Nancy's disappearance, 3 major A-list stars have wiped their hard drives. Beyonce's legal team just issued a rare John Doe gag order, and Hollywood's cleaners are working overtime. This isn't a missing person story anymore. It's a whistleblower execution. A shadow figure from Nancy's past, a disgraced ex-agent, has reached out to me with a claim that will melt your screen. Nancy Guthrie didn't just recognize her kidnapper. She recognized the man who was supposed to be leading the search for her. The war is no longer in the shadows. It's on the front page. As I am recording this, my servers are under a DDoS attack. Lawyers are filing an emergency injunction to have this video blacklisted. This isn't true crime, it's forbidden knowledge. The individual Nancy recognized is an untouchable figure in the Arizona elite. To name him is a career execution. He is currently hiding behind a wall of high-priced attorneys, hoping the public loses interest. But urgency is our only weapon. They want to bury Nancy Guthrie under a mountain of fake ransom notes and Bitcoin distractions. Don't let them. It's time to reveal the contents of the red folder. The FBI found a mixed DNA sample on the porch. But there's a piece of evidence they didn't mention. A custom-made cufflinks link found in the blood. It belongs to the protector. Nancy Guthrie's final words on that 911 ghost call weren't a plea for help. They were a question. Is this about the $6 million? The rabbit hole leads directly to a massive money laundering scheme involving a second, even more famous celebrity Guthrie, whose name is currently trending for all the wrong reasons. Nancy was the only one with the physical proof. Now that proof is missing, and so is she. The system wants you to stay silent. They want you to type RIP and move on to the next headline. But we are building a digital resistance. I need to know your instinct. Is Nancy Guthrie a victim of a calculated industry hit, or was she the monster who knew too much and tried to play the game? Type victim or monster in the comments right now. I am tracking the most logical theories for my part 2 deep dive. Subscribe and hit the bell to stay protected from the cover-up. They can take down the video, but they can't take down the truth once you've heard it.